Hi there, you're watching All 24 News World News program broadcasting to you live from Algiers, and up next are tonight's top stories. Zimbabwe's president wraps up Algeria visit as both countries reaffirm full agreement on regional and global issues. Also on our news tonight, Algeria's energy giants Sonatrach and China's Sinopec plan to boost their partnership to a strategic level. Coming up as well, reef issue moves toward the UN, while activists call for action against Mahsen violations and demand accountability for genocide and ethnic cleansing. And Zionist occupation forces kill 100 civilians in Gaza as famine claims 18 more lives, and UNRWA warns that 1 million children starving under siege. More reports are straight ahead. Welcome back to the program. Leading on news tonight, Zimbabwe's President Emmerson Mnangagwa wrapped up a two-day visit to Algeria on Sunday, departing from Algiers' Houari Boumediene International Airport, where he was seen off by Algeria's Council of the Nation chairman, Azouz Nasri. Algeria's state energy firm Sonatrach and China's Sinopec signed a memorandum of understanding on Sunday to explore potential hydrocarbon contracts in the Gurara and Burkina East basins. Sonatrach CEO Rashid Hashishi said the agreement lays the groundwork for joint evaluation and development of resources in the two regions, with discussions underway on a work program.
This signing, which crowns a long journey of cooperation and joint effort, is expected to open promising prospects for both parties in exploring, assessing, and developing hydrocarbon resources in the Gurara and Eastern Burkina regions. It will strengthen opportunities for partnership and pave the way for signing promising hydrocarbon contracts that contribute to the responsible and sustainable development of our natural resources. This approach reflects our firm commitment to environmental protection by applying the best international practices in the responsible exploitation of resources. The partnership between Sonatrach and Sinopec will not only enhance our production capacity, God willing, but will also bring tangible benefits to Algeria.
Hashishi stressed that the agreement reflects both parties' commitment to strengthening ties and expanding cooperation, elevating their partnership to a strategic level.
We're confident that this memorandum of understanding will enable us in the next phase to launch high-quality projects that align with the ambitions of our two countries and peoples and contribute to the sustainable development of energy resources. Furthermore, this agreement reflects Sonatrach's commitment under its development strategy to expand its strategic partnerships and explore new opportunities in exploration, development, and innovation.
For his part, Sinopec CEO Zhao Dong expressed the Chinese firm's readiness to build a responsible, sustainable, and integrated partnership with Sonatrach.
Our goal is not only to sign this agreement, but to implement it effectively. We have great confidence in our future cooperation with Sonatrach and are fully ready to expand our partnership. Our objectives are clear: to conduct a joint study, launch a pilot project, plan the necessary infrastructure for natural gas, validate the economic model, and prove to the world that Algeria's unconventional resources hold significant commercial value. We're ready to take the first step and bear the initial investments and risks. However, at the same time, we hope to establish a clear, stable, and efficient cooperation mechanism with Sonatrach based on mutual benefit. Only this way can we accelerate the project's pace, begin production as soon as possible, and create value for both sides.
Moving on to a different matter, the National Reef Party has initiated legal and political steps to bring the reef issue before the UN Decolonization Committee. During a human rights symposium in Algiers, the group called for prosecuting Mahsen regime officials over involvement in genocide and ethnic cleansing against Reef populations. Salman Sib has the story.
The struggle for the liberation of the Reefian people is grounded in a legal, political approach aimed at reclaiming their fundamental rights denied for decades, restoring their full ability to exercise their right to self-determination. The Reef issue has long been silenced and hidden behind a veil of censorship, systematically marginalized in the official narratives of the Mersin regime.
Since its founding 2 years ago, the Reefian National Party has worked toward inclusion and the internationalization of the Reefian cause, as well as raising global awareness. Through this process of visibility and international outreach, we aim to enter a new phase, bringing the Reefian cause to the United Nations, specifically to the 4th Committee on Decolonization.
The Reef National Party remains firm in its right against the violations committed by the Mersin regime, demanding not only investigations into serious crimes under international law and human rights violations, but also accountability for a century of repression and abuse against the Reefian people.
From Algeria, we declare that the Reef Liberation Project cannot be derailed, neither by crumbs of regionalism, nor by the lies of reconciliation, nor by pacts with the Moroccan occupation, nor by sham elections. We say this to the world, and especially to the Mersin. We refuse to be ruled from a place run by French intelligence services, by a throne born of betrayal of the resistance, or by a regime that normalizes relations with those who kill children in Palestine.
Despite numerous obstacles, including strategic interests and international alliances that shield the Moroccan regime, the party continues its struggle, appealing to international bodies to raise awareness and defend the Reef cause.
So far, there has been no reaction or response from the European Union countries. The reason is likely clear. Most EU countries maintain extensive and perhaps unconventional relations with the Mersin state for a simple reason. The Mersin regime is seen by Europeans as a functional, non-sovereign and submissive regime.
This legal and political battle seeks to restore the independence of the Reef and re-establish historical recognition of the Republic of the Reef, a truth the Moroccan regime strives to suppress.
Activists and human rights advocates from across Africa and Europe called for urgent international action to stop the Mersin regime's abuses in the Reef. At the Algiers Symposium, hosted by the National Reef Party, participants unanimously demanded the enforcement of international law to guarantee the Reef people's right to self-determination and independence.
الشعب الصحراوي والشعب الريفي يشتركان في أشياء.
Both Sahrawi and Reef people share several things that may have emerged by chance, the most significant being a common enemy, the Moroccan occupation, which has sought to expand both the north and the south. In doing so, it has earned the enmity of two peaceful nations. During its occupation of the Reef region, the Mersin has spared no effort in subjugating the Reef people, undermining their dignity, imprisoning their youth, seizing their resources, and attempting demographic change by bringing in Moroccan settlers who try to present themselves as part of the local population. All of this forms part of the broader Moroccan occupation, which aims to legitimize its presence in these territories.
I came today to explain what our committee has done to free Ali Ares and to denounce Belgium's failure to support its own citizen. We continue to fight for his recognition and compensation so he can live with dignity. We also understand the Reef situation better now and support its right to independence, but it's up to the Reef people to decide how to pursue it for greater global justice.
Still with regional news, South Africa's ruling African National Congress has accused Morocco of a serious diplomatic violation after Rabat displayed the South African flag during talks with an opposition figure supporting Western Sahara autonomy plan. The ruling party condemned the act as provocative, demanding an immediate explanation and formal apology from Moroccan authorities.
But Sidibé arrived with a project.
This reckless and provocative act is a clear violation of international diplomatic norms and unacceptable interference in South Africa's internal affairs. Using our national symbols in foreign hosted parties and events is not only misleading, but part of a wider agenda of external interference. The ANC calls on the Department of International Relations and Cooperation to file an official protest and demand an immediate explanation and apology from the Moroccan authorities.
Sahrawi President Brahim Ghali reaffirmed his commitment to strengthening the long-standing ties of friendship, cooperation and solidarity with Nicaragua. In a message to President Daniel Ortega marking the 46th anniversary of the Sandinista revolution, Ghali praised Managua's continued and sincere support for the Sahrawi people across various sectors. Switching focus to the war on Gaza, occupation forces committed another massacre against starving Palestinians near 8 centers in the besieged Strip. Palestine TV reported 94 martyrs since dawn Sunday, including 81 in the Sudanese area. In Rafah, 6 were killed and over 20 others were injured. The health ministry in Gaza said 922 people have been killed and 5,861 wounded since the so-called American Foundation for Gaza Relief began operating. In the past 24 hours alone, 31 people were killed and 107 injured in targeted attacks on what have become known as death traps.
Deliver this message to the whole world. We got this flower by risking our lives, our blood. Our livelihood can only come with us losing blood so we can eat. It is forbidden for us to have it easy. We came to eat and feed our children after a month of not seeing or tasting bread. Thank God today we get a bag of flour. We are hungry and we need to eat. Where is Assisi? Where are the Islamic and Arab nations? Our children are dying today without bread. My wife is pregnant with twins and today I am out for bread.
I came to get flour for my children because I have none at home. You know the situation here is difficult and the world watches without asking about us. That's why we take the risk ourselves, knowing it's a risk, with the chance we might not return, but we have to try. It's my first time here, but there is no choice. I have to come.
On a similar note, the Palestinian Health Ministry in Gaza reported 18 starvation deaths in the past 24 hours, including 6 children and 2 women. The total death toll from hunger has now reached 86, with 76 children and 10 adults killed due to the Zionist occupation's blockade and obstruction of humanitarian aid. Gaza Civil Defense spokesperson Mahmoud Basal has launched an open-ended hunger strike protesting the occupation's use of starvation as a weapon of war. He urged the international community to intervene and halt the genocide by starvation in the besieged territory.
A few days ago, I was surviving on food provided by the girl, just like more than 2 million residents suffering from hunger in the Gaza Strip. Due to the lack of basic food supplies in the area, I announce a complete hunger strike from this moment.
UNRWA warned that the occupation forces are starving civilians in Gaza Strip, including 1 million children. In a statement Sunday, the agency called for an end to the blockade and demanded immediate access to deliver food and medicine. Hunger is killing where bombs do not. The ongoing Zionist blockade is starving a besieged population, with children among the first to die. Zafar Jani reports now.
In Gaza's Nusayrat camp, a pot of soup draws a desperate crowd. Dozens of displaced families line up for hours, not for a full meal, but for a single ladle. It's a grim reflection of a man-made famine unfolding under a Zionist siege. We are dying of hunger. We can't find food or drink, not even water. We drink from the sea. We came here at 3 a.m. to fill just one small dish. There are 5 or 6 of us. Who among us should eat from it? This is all that's left, this soup kitchen. The United Nations has warned Gaza is starving. With border crossings sealed and aid blocked by occupation forces, Gaza's population of over 2 million is being pushed to the brink. Food prices have skyrocketed and essential items like flour have vanished from the strip. We've lived through the uprisings of the wars of 2008, 2009 and 2021, but we've never experienced famine like this. The crossings are shut. We just want them to open the borders and let the aid in. We are truly fed up. Enough is enough. In Khan Yunis, this grieving mother clutches the shrouded body of her infant son, 3-month-old Yahya Najjar, who died of hunger. Yahya's mother, too weak from malnutrition to breastfeed, watched helplessly as her son wasted away. All of Gaza is hungry. Everyone has no bread at home. Yahya's brother looks like a skeleton. It's only a matter of days. May God be patient with us. Oh God, relieve Gaza for the sake of this child who died of hunger. At Nasser Hospital, the number of starving children is rising. Medical staff are battling a hunger crisis with no resources, no formula, and no end in sight. We are overwhelmed. We don't have the equipment, the medications, or even baby formula. We try to help with what little we have, but our calls for formula have gone unanswered. The UN agency UNRWA says it has enough food stored for Gaza's entire population for over 3 months, but the Zionist entity is not allowing it in. Aid convoys are deliberately blocked at the border, while children die of hunger just kilometers away.
Still with Palestine-related news, a deadly attack on tents housing displaced families at the Applied Science College in Al-Mawasi left 14 martyrs, including a child and a civil defense officer, Hani Dabour, according to medical sources at Al-Kuwaiti hospital. 5 others were wounded when occupation forces targeted a civil defense post in the same area. Separately, 2 Palestinians were killed by occupation gunfire in Deir al-Balah in central Gaza. The Palestinian Ministry of Health in Gaza reported Sunday that 130 people were killed and 495 wounded in the latest 24-hour period, with victims brought to hospitals across the besieged enclave. The ministry stated that the total death toll from the ongoing occupation assault has now reached 58,895, with at least 140,980 injured since the aggression began nearly 23 months ago. The Palestinian Journalist Syndicate revealed Sunday that occupation forces assassinated 33 journalists and 41 of their family members in the first half of this year. At a press conference in Ramallah, Mohammed Al-Aham, head of the Freedoms Committee, reported 739 violations, including 25 arrests, 66 injuries, and 32 home demolitions targeting journalists in Gaza and the West Bank. Elsewhere in the Middle East, Syria's Interior Ministry said clashes in Suwaida have ended after tribal fighters evacuated the area, with security forces deploying to enforce the truce. Ministry spokesman Noraddin al-Baba stated Saturday that authorities had worked intensively to broker the ceasefire, confirming government forces were now positioned in areas north and west of the governorate. The death toll from a week of violence in southern Syria has surpassed 1,000, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. The toll includes 15 government soldiers killed in recent Zionist strikes across the country, including Damascus, the capital. The UN's International Organization for Migration reported that over 128,000 people have been displaced in 1 week alone, with more than 43,000 fleeing on July 19 alone. Shifting focus to the war in Sudan, Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan arrived in Khartoum on Saturday for the first time since the war began. His visit marks a turning point as the army regained control of the capital's airport last March after nearly 2 years under RSF control. It comes amid major military advances and a push to reshape the capital's political and security landscape. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Kamal Idris announced he planned to rebuild Khartoum's war-ravaged infrastructure. During field visits with officials, he pledged to restore key institutions and services to pave the way for civilians' return. Looking Eastern Europe now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has proposed resuming peace talks with Russia next week. In his evening address, he stressed the importance of maintaining negotiation momentum and reiterated his willingness to meet President Vladimir Putin to achieve a genuine and lasting peace.
National Security and Defense Council Secretary Yomirov also reported that he has proposed the next meeting with the Russian side for next week. Negotiation dynamics must increase. Everything must be done to achieve a ceasefire. The Russian side must stop avoiding decisions. The exchange of prisoners, the return of children, the cessation of killings. A meeting at the level of leaders is needed to truly ensure peace, a lasting peace. Ukraine is ready for such a meeting.
Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said President Vladimir Putin is open to a peaceful settlement in Ukraine, but only after achieving the goals of what he terms special military operation. In a televised statement Sunday, Peskov stressed that Putin has repeatedly voiced readiness for peace, but Moscow remains focused on fulfilling its war objectives.
President Putin has repeatedly spoken of his desire to bring the Ukrainian settlement to a peaceful conclusion as soon as possible. This is a long process. It requires effort. It is not easy, and it seems Washington is increasingly coming to understand this.
More international news stories making waves in the news in brief with Sofian Kanturi.
Mauritanian President Mohamed Ould Sheikh Ghazouani voiced strong optimism for the 2026 China-Arab States Summit to be held in China, calling it a new and important milestone in the growing partnership between China and the Arab world. The Sudanese army says it destroyed over 50 RSF vehicles in Horsey, North Kordofan, forcing their retreat after intensified air and drone strikes. Iran, UK, France and Germany have agreed in principle to hold talks on Tehran's nuclear program. According to an Iranian source, discussions are ongoing over the date and location, with no host country confirmed yet for next week. Brazil plans to take new measures that may include extra taxes on profits of major US tech companies in response to sanctions threatened by President Trump.
And that brings us to the end of our news program for tonight. For more updates, you can always check our social media platforms as well as our website. I'm Islam Sid. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, take care.